Welcome to our tutorial. In this video, we will guide you through the process of creating a responsive and modern form using the powerful utility first CSS framework, the Tailwind CSS. We will cover everything from setting up your project to styling from elements and adding interactivity. So let's dive in and start building our form. I already have set up and installed Tailwind CSS in my computer. This is a basic setup that you can see with the empty index.html. And if you want to learn how to set up Tailwind CSS, I already have made a video about that in my playlist. So you can just go there and watch and learn. So once you have your project ready, you can start from here. So here you can see we have a package.json where we have the run command. You just need to run this npm run, and this will basically run this command that is required to run the Tailwind CSS CLI in the watch mode. So it will continuously watching the changes in the input.css file, and it will build in the this folder with the name output.css file. Other than we have the empty, the basic default tailwind.config.js file, and this is the empty input.css. So let's begin. So very first thing is that we have to start this website in the browser. So I'm running it right now. This is empty. I will add the background color as the first step. So bg gray, this. Okay, the background color has been added. After that, we need to create a card for the login. So let's do that. So very first thing that I want is bg white, that is a background white color, and then I need rounded corners, and also that I need shadow, and I also need a width of maybe 400 pixels and height of 400 pixels. Okay, you can see it is visible now. I also need to bring it in the middle, in vertically and horizontally. For that, I will add flex to the parent, that is body in our case, justify center and item center. And we also need to set the height for the body to h screen, so it will take all of the height that is equal to the screen. All right, maybe we should decrease the intensity of the gray. Okay, now let's add the label, that is username, and also we need to add the input. As this is a password, so type should also be the password, obviously. Okay, this is how it looks like right now. We have to improve it a lot. So for that, first of all I need some padding in my parent of these inputs. So for that I will add p6, and then I will add a class here, bold or font. Okay, and we also need to add display block so that it could take all of the space in its row. So for that, add this block. And now I need to add styles to the input, but also we have to add the margin bottom below the label. So we need to add rounded shape here, and the border should be solid, and border color should be gray. or maybe slate, whatever suits better. I also need to add the box shadow. So I think we should wrap it in another div so that it can stay in its own area. Here I will add class MB5. Okay, perfect. Now I need to add some padding in the input. So px should be, I guess, 5 and py should be 3 or 2. Okay. And I want to set the width to 100%. So for that I will use w dash full. Also, we need to add the block property so that we could add the width. Otherwise, width would not work. And after that, everything else I think is correct. Now we can simply copy paste this one. So I will remove it and we will copy paste this so that we could reuse the same designs. So okay, the type should be password in this case like before. All right. After that, we need to add the sign in button. And BG. So let's try this one. And the text should be white. And the PX should be 4 and PY should be 3, I guess. I think PY should be 2 and PX should be 5. And it should be rounded. Okay. Now we also have to add the hover effect. So we need to change the background color if user hovers on this button. Okay. And on the right side, we need to add the forgot password link. And we need to push it to the right side. For that, I will add flex and justify between. Okay. Also, I will change the colors for the link. And maybe we need to make it bold. Also, we should add some margin top. Other than that, we need to decrease the height of the login form. So earlier we gave it the fixed height. So maybe we can try to give it the minimum height. Okay. And I guess we need to increase the padding. Now we will implement the validation with the help of JavaScript. So JavaScript is not part of this tutorial. So, but main focus is the design by using Tailwind CSS. But I will really quickly try to add the validation so that we could display the colors. So, for example, I can design the error message, and the color, there should be a red border around the input if it is invalid. So, for example, I can add border red. In this way we can show this border, and we will show the error message below it. So let's do that. And to make that possible, I am just quickly going to create a script tag here, and we will create a function submit. So whenever somebody clicks on the submit function button, then this function should be called, and then we will get the username property, a username input. For that, I will use document.getElement by ID, username, and similarly, we need to get the password input. So I can create a separate function for validation, for example, function validate form, and I can move all of this in this. And here I can just call the function validate form. So here I can simply check if username is not found or empty, for example, dot value, then return false. Okay, if any value from any of these inputs is not found, empty, then we should return false so that we could use it here. So if validation form is true, then we will show an alert valid. Okay. After that, let me add it in a scare bracket so that we could add further condition, nested conditions in this. For that, I will use if not username dot value. If username is invalid, then we need to show the border around that username input. So let's do that. Class list dot add. Actually, we need to remove the existing border color. So for example, so this is the existing border that we need to remove, and instead of that, we will add a different class, username dot class list dot add, and here I will add border red 700 maybe. Let's try this one first. Actually, here let me add the reverse action as well. So if everything is valid, then I will simply add this border back, and I will remove this border. So let's try it. It is not working because we never add the submit function on the click event. So on click, let's try it now. Now you can see that this form input was invalid. That's why now the border is being shown. If I fill something and hit the sign in button again, then it should remove the border, but it is still not removing. So let's see what is wrong here. So Let me alert the value. Right now it is empty. I click on that, but okay, so actually when it is valid, then it will never come in this section. I'm just trying to see if there is any error. Yes, I can see there is an error. So it is saying that password is not defined. So why is that? We have the password with the capital P. That's why it was not working. Also, we should do this thing. For example, if username is valid, then we need to remove the error border and we need to add the normal border back. Okay. And maybe we should use the 500 shade of red, and we don't need the else here. Okay, similarly, I will copy paste this for the password as well. And similarly, I will remove the border for the password. Let's try. You can see now it is showing the border on both of these inputs. Now I have added the data. If you click on that, it should remove the border. It did not remove for the password yet. The reason is that I did not duplicate correctly. Now try it again. Sign in, type something, hit the submit button, and the border has been fixed. Other than that, I also want to display the text message below the input. So if there is something wrong, then there should be a text that would indicate that what is wrong. So for that, here I will add another div, and please, or you can say username is invalid, and here I can give it an ID, user name error. Okay, and now I need to add some classes to design it. For example, empty 5, and text should be small or maybe extra small, and the color should be red. Okay, and the font should be bold. And it should be italic instead of bold. Okay, so similarly, I need to add same kind of element below the password. So here I will add password. By default, we can display it none. So for example, invisible. So by default, this error would not be visible, but it should be visible only if there is an error. Okay. Now here, if there is a username error, then I want to actually, let me copy paste this username error, password error. Okay. So if there is a username error, then I will simply use the username error, and I will get the class list, and I will remove the invisible class. Okay, if I remove the invisible class, then it will automatically show the element password error. And actually we should add so we should add the invisible class again if error has been removed. So I will use the add function here instead, and here as well. Okay, now let's try it again. By the way, I can still see some space, so maybe we should not use the invisible, because invisible just yeah, we should be using the hidden instead of invisible. Otherwise, it will be taking the white space. So here as well. Okay, now you can see spacing issue is fixed. Now hit the sign in button. You can see that their error message is visible. If I type something, hit the sign in button again, it should remove it, but it did not. We should not return from here. That's why it was not working correctly. Actually, in the bottom, we should check if, so we can just return username dot value or and user password dot value. So if both are valid, then we should return true. Otherwise, it will return the false. So let's try it. Now if I fix it, then the error should be gone, and if I fix this one, then it should show the valid message in the alert. Alright, that's it I wanted to show in this video. I hope that you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, then please don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing for more awesome web development content. And if you have any questions or if you want to share your creations, then drop a comment down below and contact with me on my social media platforms. Until next time, keep coding and stay curious.